So we'll have a single arm bridge press. So we'll come here, we're gonna make sure that we're active with our legs. Okay, we're dropping our feet into the ground, we're pushing our knees forward. We're gonna keep that elbow tight to the side. We don't want our elbow way up here, we want it 45 degrees to the torso or closer. We're gonna drive straight up, pull straight down. So it's just a normal press here, keeping that forearm vertical. Okay, again, making sure that we're keeping these hips up. Don't have the tendency to let those hips sag. Okay, you're gonna have to find a little bit of rotation here. Okay, and when we make the transfer, don't try to transfer up here. Bring that dumbbell down to you so that we keep our face intact. Okay, so do not transfer up here. Transfer low down here, and then when we're done, we drop, we go into a seated row. If you've got a regular setup with a bench and a cable, that's great. If you don't have the bench, we can always stand up. You can sit on a bench. You can move over here. In addition, if you just need bands, that's okay as well. We're gonna have a big, nice, tall seated position. We're gonna lean forward a little bit, let those shoulder blades ride around, so you're gonna let them go a little bit, protract, and then you're gonna sit up, and we're gonna row back, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Reach out, and then sit back up. So notice I am moving my torso just a little bit, especially up top, but it's not a whole lot. You also want to make sure that you're not shrugging those shoulder blades a whole lot. Row back and extend. So on the press, we're going to do 8 to 10 on that each side. We're going to do 10 to 12 here on the row. We will just bounce back and forth between the two of those. We're going to have 4. We're going to have a rack hold split squat. So you don't have to elevate your feet on this, but I'm going to show it to you just in case you have a little ground clearance. If you can get that back knee all the way to the ground, we need to create a little bit of an elevation so that we can get a full range of motion. I want my arms here. My elbows can point down. They can also point up. I just want to avoid pointing them out. Use your core to keep that torso tight, and we're going to try to take this back knee to the ground. Holding that torso up. So you're going to feel this a lot in that front leg, but you're not keeping all your weight there. We're not leaning forward. We're going to try to stay right in the center. You also, we're going to say in the center, move straight up and down. You also need to pull this front leg back while you pull this back leg forward. So we're kind of creating some rotation, holding ourselves down. That way we don't slide. My back foot doesn't slide out behind me. My front foot doesn't slide. I'm still keeping my force up and down. And I'm keeping all my force that's put out more towards the middle. I'm pulling it back towards the middle so that we can keep it all there and move it straight up and straight down, which is where the only place we want the movement to happen. We don't want it to bleed out that way. We're losing power, and obviously we'll lose the ability there as well. So we'll have 10 reps on each side. So after the split squat, we're gonna come outside. If you have it, doesn't matter if you're inside and you got a high enough ceiling. We got a sand ball here. You wanna go with a light ball, so you don't need something that's really heavy. You're gonna drop down. Now notice here, I'm gonna pull my hips down and my chest is gonna stay up. The ball stays below my chest. We do not wanna get in this position here. We're gonna end up throwing with our back, and that's not gonna feel good. So drop your hips, keep that chest up tall, push off that ground, throw as high as you can. Throw it back a little bit also, we're gonna get it. Little squat. Quick get. Make sure you get reset here, so don't get in such a hurry that we get a sloppy rep. So make sure that we sit up tall, get our core tight, drop in, and get a good rep before we get a fast rep. Have a sense of urgency, get there, don't lollygag, but make sure that we're taking our time to get ourselves set. Okay, we're gonna do 6 total throws, and we'll do 4 rounds of the split squat and throws. This is very metabolically demanding, okay, especially paired up with the split squat. So make sure you're getting your 2 to 3 minutes rest after this before we get into our next split squat. We want to be fresh and ready to go. Okay, so for our next circuit, we're going to be in a landmine press. We're going to start with 2 hands on the landmine. Whatever hand has the landmine, that foot is in the rear position. We're going to start in a little squat. You can rest on your shoulder if your post is long enough. We'll squat down, press. We'll go from 2 to 1. Handle back with 2, drive up. And yeah, sure, we're getting a lot of this power from our hips, but we're gonna try to get a decent amount of weight up there with a single arm, okay? So definitely use your legs to help you. So we're gonna do 8 on each side, then we'll set it down, and we're gonna be in a split stance position. You should be able to use a similar weight for these 2 moves. We're gonna sit down into our hips, so I don't, again, wanna be here. We wanna sit down, this back knee is, the back knee is the inside knee, and it's getting close to the ground. I'm going to be here, and I'm going to complete a nice row. Shoulder blade is going to ride around that rib cage. A nice smooth motion here. Not in a hurry, trying to feel that shoulder blade ride towards that spine and then reach back out. If this bumper plate is too high, you can get a smaller circumference plate to kind of allow yourself to get a little more rotation, or you can get boxes and elevate yourself as well. Either way, it's all good. So we're gonna have 8 to 10 on each side there. We'll move back and forth between those two, and then the third move is gonna be a medicine ball slam. So we're gonna get a heavy medicine ball, as heavy as you can find. I'd love you to get up into a 30, 40, 50 pound med ball, okay? We're gonna reach up, slam, scoot back up, slam, scoot back up. When we scoot back up, notice how I drop into this good squat position, and as I come up, I'm using my abs, my core. I can make it more challenging by getting the ball further out. So if I hold the ball further out away from me, as I stand up, my core is gonna have to work more. If the ball's too heavy, you can bring it in tighter to the body. So we'll get 12 slams with the press and the row, okay? So we have 8 presses on each side, 10 to 12 rows on it, or 8 to 10 rows on each side, and then we're gonna do 10 slams, okay? We have 4 rounds. For our last circuit, we're gonna be in a bridge position, much like we were at the beginning. We're gonna hold up. I'm gonna bring my opposite hand and knee together. Now the important thing is that they are pushing together. I'm trying to smash my hand and my knee together, and I'm gonna perform a simple hip thruster. You're gonna feel that leg that's on the ground, really working along with the adductor and hip flexor of the sub leg. Really working on the core. It's called the anterior oblique sling. So kind of a big cross section of muscles and tendons and ligaments and all the fun stuff that connects cross-banded. So again, opposite hand and knee pushing together. It's important they're pushing together about 20-30%, and then we're just performing a simple hip thruster for 12 to 15 reps on each side. Then we're gonna get into a plank position. I've got a hero board here. You can get sliders, work great. You can use a weight plate. You can use plastic plates. Kind of whatever you have. If you have a hero board, that's great. Any sort of slider works. Single leg, bring your knee to your chest. Nice smooth hip flexion motion. You want to try to keep the opposite leg off the ground. If you need a little help, that's okay, but you got to make sure you're staying active with the roller leg. Don't make it easy. Okay, if I put my foot down, it's really easy to make this easy. So try to take as much weight off. If you need some assistance, that's fine. Okay, and we're gonna do 12 to 15 reps there as well. We will finish off with 6 to 8 chin-ups, okay? However hard you need to make that. If you need to put a belt around and weigh your 6 to 8 chin-ups down, great. If you need to find an assist machine, or we need to start on a barbell that's a little bit lower, we're gonna get 6 to 8 chin-ups, and we're gonna have 4 rounds of this circuit, and that'll complete our workout. If you have questions, comments, shoot them below, shoot them to us on Instagram, email, whatever you got. We'd love for you to come join us in person if you get a chance. We appreciate you, and have an awesome workout.